Hi friends, how are you? Today we're going to be tackling this table that I got from my folks. It's actually for my brother. So I try I tried to bring it up to speed and I did like the end result. So you will see me trying to reduce the space in between because you can't really put your feet under it. It kind of meets up with your knees. So you can see I had a little helper with me, and we started off by just cleaning it up and removing some of the residue from paper that stuck for a while, and then sanding some pieces of wood that I was going to use in a bit. You will see as to how I used it. So I used our 60 grit, which is a bit rough because my wood was also a bit rough. So I needed to leave out the scraps. What are they called? Ututu vitu twa kando. So yeah, that's why I was using that one instead of a finer sandpaper. But I did go back with a finer sandpaper when it was done, and at least it was kind of smooth to the touch. It wouldn't leave, it wouldn't prick you in any way. So I ended up dismantling it, and you can see the middle section is what I removed, and I was happy about that. It came out fairly easy, and I noticed that the joinery wasn't so difficult, but it gave me quite a hard time putting it back. But you live and you learn. Yeah. Now, the assembly time. So I was just trying to put these pieces back together because the purpose for this was to reduce the middle section that was the storage bit. So I needed to bring it back, to what it was before. I used the Ponal Professional White Wood Glue. I've never used it before. It was a first time try, and I do not know what to say about it because I ended up not needing to use it, but I applied it anyway just so that we can, I mean, I thought I would do it with just wood glue and some nails, but that did not work out quite okay. And I will not dismiss this glue, but I will give it another chance, maybe in future projects, and see how well it works. But anyway, that notwithstanding, I did apply a generous amount and try to piece them back together. From what I saw, it had a bit of a quick addition, but it didn't stick since my joinery wasn't the best. But anyway, again, you live and you learn. Yo, let me tell you what I learned from this short session of woodworking. I need clamps. But anyway, it worked out well. At least it held a bit, didn't break apart. So that was good. You saw me trying to fit the middle piece back on, but it needed a joinery cut, so that's what I was doing with a saw. And then I went out and brought my lamp. So because I needed an anchor for placing that middle piece, as you can see, so that it gives me support. I don't have all the equipment yet, so here we needed to be creative with the process. So this helped me at least mark out, or kind of figure out where I would want to attach that middle piece. And yeah, it helped in a way. It did. So far, um, I got to see that the piece also had some screws, and I quickly tried to remove the screws in between. I mean, from that middle piece. The original attachment used some screws, so some were really locked tight, but for the most part, a majority of them came off. So that was okay and gave me a good time. So I ended up having to cut these pieces of wood, small pieces of wood, just to give it anchorage, such that when I flip the table over, it would rest on these pieces. I did actually attach these wooden pieces to the sides of the table, and it held up slightly okay, only that it ended up being lopsided. So one part, it didn't measure well. And then the worst thing happened. This table broke on me. Yani, it just fell apart. And then I took a 2-month break from that project. So anyway, the picture you see right now, the table standing tall and mighty, um, is me having surrendered. So I ended up having to ask for help from a carpenter, a neighbor carpenter in my area. So he helped me put it back together because, you know, I accepted that maybe I bit more than I could chew, but I'm really grateful for that process. At least I got to learn some new ways of joining pieces of wood from reclaimed furniture. So that was a good thing. So what I ended up having to do here, at least it gave me some bit of motivation. This is wood glue. I just mixed the wood glue I have. No, sorry, not wood glue. Um, wood filler. So I bought mine in a powder form. So all I had to do was add a little bit of water and mix it to the consistency of a paste so that it's able to spread on quickly. And it dries quick, so you need a very quick hand. As you saw, the table had quite a number of cracks. It was really worn. So I really wanted a nice smooth finish to it once my end product was done. So that's why I ended up having to use some wood filler. It worked out really well, and I'm glad. So the other thing I needed to do was the backing. I removed the former backing. It was really light and, I mean, not very cute. So this was a new one, a bit thicker, to give it some strength. So yeah, I just cut it to shape, to size, and it fit well. I put it aside. I'll attach it later. You will see. So the filler dried, and I sanded it down the entire piece where I could, because it was time to paint. It was time to do the finishing on this baby. Here I had some black paint on hand that I used for exterior purposes, aka my gate. But yeah, I used it on this piece as its undercoat anyway, just because the plan I had for this piece was to really bring out the gray, because I wanted a gray to it. So yeah, that was the first coat I did on this piece. and that's how it looked like. But the smell, I had forgotten about this smell. I wish I did it outside. But then again, it was the rainy season, so I really couldn't leave it outside. Yeah, so that's why I'm indoors with this paint. But never again. Um, Clearly change of location, but I took this piece to where it's supposed to be. Its final home, which is where my brother lives. So he was helping me film at this point. And what we did to the wood, you can see that it has a shine, a different color. We just spray painted silver because I wanted it to have a metallic kind of look. So that is the silver spray paint. And then we had some matte and some gray paint in matte. So that's what we were using on the rest of the piece, just to give it a bit of an industrial look, a bit modern. So I liked how it really ended up. The gray, when it was drying, it dried very beautifully. It brightens up when it dries, and it doesn't give a sheen because it's matte. So I also painted the back piece, as you saw. So let's remember how this was before. That's how it looked, and this is how it looks now. I really love how this piece turned out. It turned out very beautifully. I ended up putting about 3 coats or so to the finish, and yeah, it was quite a process. I loved it. Anyway, until next time, friends. Bye.